The largest military transport in the US's arsenal is also one of the largest planes in the world. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the aptly named C-5 Galaxy, and it's been 5 decades worth celebrating. With the ability to swallow 50-ton main battle tanks and deposit them on another continent, the Galaxy is an essential part of the global logistics system. As Air Force historian John Leland noted, the C-5 symbolized the size, power, might and majesty of the United States Air Force, and it still does to this day. For a half-century, the Galaxy has kept America's armed forces, allies, and far-flung scientists well supplied in the most remote corners of the Earth, and it will continue to do the job for the foreseeable future. It's hard to wrap your head around the sheer size of the C-5. The most recent version, the C-5M, is 247 feet long. That's 12 feet longer than an Airbus A380 superjumbo civilian jetliner. It has a wingspan of 222.8 feet, with each wing as long as a basketball court. The aircraft stands 65 feet tall, the equivalent of a 6.5-story building. The Galaxy is so galactic it won't fit inside many hangars. In some cases the C-5 mostly fits inside and the Air Force simply cuts a hole in the sliding doors for its whale-shaped tail to stick out. Other times, it just sits outside. The C-5 was built to carry more cargo than any other plane. The C-5M can lift more than 250,000 pounds, and the approximately 34,000 cubic foot cargo bay is large enough to contain 1 tank, 6 helicopters, or 24,844,746 ping-pong balls. The gargantuan airplane can fly 5,524 miles with 120,000 pounds of cargo without refueling. With midair refueling, the C-5 has practically unlimited range. The C-5 Galaxy started with a requirement. The Air Force wanted a transport capable of carrying all the equipment necessary for a U.S. Army division halfway across the world. While transports of the time, including the C-130 Hercules and now extinct C-141 Starlifter, were big, they simply couldn't handle the most important item, the new M60 main battle tank. The M60 was 30 feet long, 10 feet high, and weighed 50 tons. The Air Force issued a requirement for a new super heavy transport plane, CXLHS, and set a performance goal of carrying 100,000 pounds a distance of 4,500 nautical miles at 440 knots. The plane that could do it would be not only the largest airplane in US military service, but the largest airplane in the world. It was a heady time in American history, when the country could easily fund a race to the moon, the Vietnam War, and building the largest airplane ever. Boeing, Douglas, and Lockheed competed for the contract. After a 6-month deliberation, Lockheed won the contract to build 58 of the cargo planes, while General Electric won the engine contract. In today's dollars, the C-5A would cost $268 million each. The C-5A was an ambitious airplane. Lockheed's specs called for an aircraft capable of carrying an outside load of 250,000 pounds, or 125 tons, a distance of 3,200 miles unrefueled. With a 100,000-pound payload, the C-5A could fly 5,300 miles. That was enough to fly from Dover Air Force Base in Delaware to Torrejon Air Base in Spain, or from Travis Air Force Base in California to Yokota Air Base in Japan. The C-5 was projected to fly more and bigger cargo and do it faster and with fewer planes. In 1965, General Howard Estes, commander of the Air Force's Military Air Transport Service, said the C-5 would have radically sped up Operation Big Lift, an exercise that flew 15,500 soldiers from the U.S. to Germany. We used 234 aircraft C-118S and C-124S, each flying one mission, and completed the lift in 63 hours, Estes said. By comparison, 42 C-5s could do the same job in only 13 hours. The C-5A would be capable of landing on unprepared airfields no longer than 4,000 feet. Following Lockheed's tradition of naming aircraft after astronomical objects and bodies, the company named the flying behemoth Galaxy. The The plane's cargo box is 13.5 feet high, 19 feet wide, and 143.75 feet long. This adds up to 34,734 cubic feet of cargo space, or what C-5 maintainers call a warehouse with wings. The cargo plane has outlasted the M60 main battle tank and can theoretically carry two M1A2 Abrams tanks, though just one Abrams is 50% heavier than the C-5's maximum cargo weight. Alternately, a C-5 can carry 350 people plus equipment, 6 A380 Black Hawk helicopters, and 6 M2 Bradley fighting vehicles. Getting cargo on and off the Galaxy is a lot easier than it looks. The C-5's bulbous nose is hinged, allowing it to raise up over the cockpit and providing full access to the cargo box. This is nicknamed the Knight's Visor. A ramp at the rear of the plane allows ground crews to drive vehicles directly onto the aircraft, where they are tied down to prevent load shifting in flight. The airplane's landing gear and 28 landing wheels can hydraulically kneel to truck bed height, allowing cargo to be offloaded directly from the plane to waiting trucks. Despite its size, the plane carries a small crew, pilot, co-pilot, 2 flight engineers, and 3 loadmasters. The plane's extreme range, it can travel 7,000 miles without refueling, means it often carries multiple crews and has provisions for up to 15 relief crew members. It can also carry 75 more passengers in airline-style seating separate from the cargo area. Perhaps the wildest version of the C-5 Galaxy never came to be. The L500 was envisioned as a civilian airliner with space for an astonishing 844 passengers, 50% more than today's Airbus A380. But as a military aircraft, the C-5 was built for performance, not affordability and fuel efficiency, and the aircraft would have been too expensive to fly as a commercial jet. Although there was some interest from the major airlines, the L500 was ironically crowded out of the civilian market by the same plane it beat in the military airlifter market, the Boeing 747. Despite its limited commercial capability, the C-5 Galaxy is going strong a half-century after its first flight. Although it is no longer the world's largest plane, that distinction belongs to the Antonov 225 Midair. There are still 56 C-5s still flying. Many of these planes have been upgraded to the C-5M standard with new F-138 commercial engines with increased power, fuel efficiency and reliability, an all-glass LCD-equipped cockpit, a new autopilot system, GPS navigation and a ring laser inertial navigation system, an all-weather flight control system, and new flight and engine instrument suites. The C-5 is such a big airplane with a large historical role, it has become a flying representation of American military power. The C-5M Super Galaxy is projected to remain in service until at least 2040, at which point there will be a demand for a newer, likely even bigger aircraft.
The challenge we were recently a part of was setting the world records for the C-5, culminating in 89 world records. In order for a mission to succeed like this one, it takes a lot of work from all the entities here at Travis that we used, like aerial port maintenance, everybody coming together, because everybody has a big role throughout that. So for the roles of aerial port maintenance and ops and the air crew, it's just one big team working together to get this mission off the ground. So the aerial port brings out the cargo. Maintenance, of course, ensures that the jet is ready to go and it's ready to operate and get out to the airplane. Operations is, like what we have in the squadron, making sure the orders are done right and everybody's currency is good to go, and then the air crew to go out there and execute the mission.
People really just working as hard as they possibly can to make sure everything's checked, double-checked, triple-checked, coordinated, and throughout preparation, just like these things. We do missions like this day in and day out where we are transporting tons of cargo all throughout the world, and be able to show the civilian population and the community in general that we can do this validates our mission and the necessity for us. Example would be a few of our cruise guys mobilized within 24 hours when the tsunami hit Japan, and we were coordinated with active duty, and the ability for us to all come together to jump in airplanes and go do relief missions literally and at a moment's notice is very important.
The C-5 has always been known as a heavy lifter. We carry space container modified missions, satellite and outside cargo, carrying heavy helicopters. We've always been known for doing that, and I think the C-5M coming around in the last few years has really solidified us as that heavy lifter to the warfighter. Anytime a lot of cargo needs to be moved, C-5M Super Galactic can be counted on. It was a great feeling setting that final record, not only for the crew, but thinking back to all the hard work that the base put in and achieving it as we wanted to, and even better times than we expected was a great feeling.
It's kind of like you set the record, you know you've gotten to an altitude, and we knew that we had done very well compared to what we practiced in the simulator. So once we hit that mark, we knew that things were going well. And then we had to continue to get to the top altitude. We got to the top altitude, and then, hey, you know, it's not over yet. We got to come down safely, land. You know, there's kind of more of the problem. The flight's not over until, you know, the airplane's parked, basically. So we didn't have a chance to celebrate too much in the air, but once we got down, you know, we were like, all right, this happened, and we were able to celebrate once we got on the ground.
How's that short little barrier look? Seems fine to me.
Yeah, it looks good. I can see it over here.
Okay. Eight knots. Left wing walker's good. We'll have plenty of room to turn out of here.
Copy.
When you're done. Let it ride.
Slowing.
Got it.
Stuff left.
Stop. Alrighty. Engine shutdown checklist.
Shutdown checklist, brake switch emergency. Parking brake.
Set.
Scan code to partner plane. Partner plane.